the State of the Union for the underprivileged, for people of color. You see, tonight, I do not come before you with illusions, but with truth. For too long, the official State of the Union has always told a story of prosperity while our communities carry the cost of lies. Let us speak plainly. Project 2025 is not just some policy manual. It was the blueprint for stripping away the little progress we had made. Behind its polished language are 25 actions already set in motion: attacks on public education, rollbacks on voting protections, cuts to social programs that keep our children fed and our older people hopefully alive, weakening of labor rights that keep our families afloat, restrictions on reproductive health care that strip women of their dignity and autonomy. And who pays the real cost? It's always us. It's the people of color, underprivileged, always the poor, always those who have served this country even before this was a country. The cost of education is not in dollars just all the time, but it's in future stolen. When classrooms lose funding, it is our children left behind. When curriculums are rewritten to erase history, it is our story that disappears. Even if we didn't have a story to begin with, the higher education system becomes a debt trap. And it's our communities that remain locked in cycles of poverty. The cost to health is measured not just in policies, but in lives. Community strips of clinics, mothers dying in childbirth at rates the nation dares not admit, families bankrupt by the price of medicine, while pharmaceutical companies post record gains. And all the while we bury our dead, while we fight to keep our lights on and food on the table, our elected officials get rich on our dime. They trade stocks with insider knowledge. They pass laws that benefit their donors, not their districts. Their campaigns with promises come with betrayals. And yet, what we are told to focus on: foolishness, manufactured scandals, petty distractions. We are fed a diet of division and a spectacle, while the true robbery happens in the boardrooms, in the back rooms, in the executive branch, in Congress itself. This is not by design. It's by trickery. It's by having these think tanks, and you aren't invited, although it is your money that they use to profit. To keep us so distracted, not to resist. We're so divided to not to unite, to make us forget that the Constitution was meant to include us too. But let me be clear. We will not forget, we will not remain silent, at least some of us won't. For the people of color are not simply an afterthought in this union. We are its foundation. We have shed blood for freedoms we did not fully receive. We have tilled its soil, built its cities, fought in its walls, and carried ideals forward, even when denied the fruits of the labor. You see, the rich Europeans have benefited more than the indigenous or the people that were already here when they got here. And so tonight, I'll tell you the truth. The State of the Union for the unprivileged is under siege, but it is not defeated. We are weary, we're tired, but we are not broken. We are oppressed, but we are not erased. We demand an America where the Constitution is not a weapon of exclusion, but a covenant of inclusion. We demand an America where education is not a luxury, but a right. We demand an America where the labor of the poor does not enrich the few, but it lifts the many. I'll tell you something, my brothers and sisters. We always sitting down there looking at how the State of the Union is supposed to profit us. But you tell me, Where has it profited us? See, the truth is always buried beneath lies, distortion, and deliberate erasure. I'll tell you something, brothers and sisters, white and black, Africa is the key. And we won't be free until Africa is free. Why? Because we run from Africa, but Europeans run to Africa because that's where everything is. Although it may be the cradle of humanity, mother of civilization, the wellspring of knowledge, art, culture that nourished the entire world before Europe even dreamed of empires, who benefits from it? Every European country is over there with their grubby hands trying to steal everything they got. And yet, the people, all of us, that's where we need to be. We were born here, but you tell me any day of the week that you ever felt like you were truly a citizen of here. They called our ancestors savages. They reduced our achievements to myth. They erased our brilliance so that they could justify crimes. Colonialism was not progress. It was horror. It was theft. It was genocide. Europe came not with open hands, but with chains and greed. They stole gold, ivory, rubber, diamonds, resources that built their palaces and their banks. They stole our brothers and sisters, packed them into ships as cargo. Millions died. Millions never returned home. And yeah, you're right. There were Africans that turned on Africans, who turned them in and did, but not like the Portuguese, like the French. And when slavery was outlawed, the plunder never stopped. They redrew borders to divide us, to pit us one against another. They didn't have borders before the Europeans came, neither in America or Africa. See, the horrors never ended. From the Congo, where hands were cut off under King Leopold, to apartheid South Africa, to Jim Crow in America, the blood of Africa and her children watered the roots of European and American wealth. And today, those horrors take new forms. We are witnessing the strain and haunting rise of black suicides by hanging. Now you tell me, do you really want to believe a man who's told you truth from the beginning? We see deportations tearing families apart. We see children caged at borders, and we are told to remain silent. These are isolated tragedies, but silence is an enemy we cannot afford because the chains did not break. They simply changed shape. Once you are bound mind, body, and soul. Today they bind our minds with images. Where whips once cracked, now algorithms do the work. Our stories, our culture, our very identities are drowned out by distractions. Celebrity gossip, the spice of outrage, endless feeds. Where we scroll, they legislate. While we argue over trivialities, they strip away education, funding, civil rights protections, and economic opportunities. This is the colonialization of the mind, and it is deliberate as colonialism ever was. Why did they have to lie? Because it's easier to justify theft if the victim is made to look less than human. Why do they lie now? Because power depends not on force, but on the consent of the silenced. If we can be convinced to see ourselves as broken to doubt our worth, then we remain easy to control. But hear me clearly. We are not broken and we are not ignorant. We are just silent and sometimes fearful. But we are the descendants of survivors. We are the foundation of this very nation. People of color who tilled this field, built its railroads, fought in its wars. Without us, there is no America. So, even though white supremacy persists in policies, prisons, and policing, in education cuts that fall hardest on black children, but this is not by accident, we will not be tricked again, and we will rise.